Welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. Disgraced R&B singer R. Kelly receiving a 30-year prison sentence for several charges linked to racketeering and sex trafficking. His legal woes are not over, though, as Kelly faces another federal case in Chicago set to start in early August, with, of course, this coming to the forefront, as well as the Ghislaine Maxwell sentencing just yesterday. Sex abuse crimes are in the national spotlight here. We want to bring attention to it here on Live Now from Fox. I want to bring in Vivace Maxvictor. She is a life coach, a celebrity life coach, and a sex abuse victim herself, a survivor, I should say. Vivace, thank you so much for being with us here on the show. This is such an important topic, and we want to bring you into the conversation to kind of explain what your thoughts are on these sentencings. Is it enough?
Oh, it's definitely not enough. Daytona, thank you for having me. It's definitely not enough. It's not related to only Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and R. Kelly, three individuals who perpetrated these heinous acts. They had a lot of help. I don't think 20 years is enough. I don't think 30 years is enough. I don't think any amount of time is enough to rob someone of their own power and agency over their body and over their well-being.
Well, we're looking at some of the court sketches from inside. R. Kelly
Yes.
not speaking at all today to any of his victims, not even really making any motions, is what we're hearing from the reporters from inside. You know, what are your thoughts on these survivors coming forward, sharing their stories inside of the courtroom and receiving a little bit of justice today from what they're saying?
I think it's extraordinary. They're speaking truth to power, and they are demonstrating an incredible amount of courage. It is so challenging to talk about having been sexually abused and to do it A, privately, but B, in such a public forum. I commend them. I think it's extraordinary for every woman who stands up. It gives 10 other women the courage to stand up, and justice has to be served. These people have to be held accountable, especially when they're in positions of tremendous power and influence. And they have so many other people who are conspiring to help them to get away with these crimes. I find it absolutely disgusting. And Ghislaine Maxwell, especially as a woman, how did she do this to go recruit other women so that Jeffrey Epstein could abuse them, as women were taught to trust other women? And sadly, in the past 2 days, we see that it's very challenging, especially when you've been a victim of sexual violence. It's hard to trust anybody. In fact, one of the survivors from Jeffrey Epstein in her victim impact statement said she cannot even trust herself. And that is one of the parts of the damages of sexual abuse. Our self-trust is broken. Our relationship with our body is broken. Our relationship with believing ourselves is broken and damaged.
Well, you have a very personal connection to this, a past in this, and just because this is being brought to the forefront, because these are celebrities that we're hearing about, this is rampant right now. It's not just in the celebrity atmosphere. It's not just in the entertainment world. It's across the board. Can you dive into that?
Daytona, I'm glad that you're bringing that up. I just looked up the statistics from RAINN.org. Every 68 seconds, an American person is being sexually assaulted. That means during the time of our interview, there is yet another individual who is being sexually assaulted. There are 460,000 victims of rape and sexual assault in the United States. 69% of them are between the ages of 12 and 34. 1 out of 6 women is a victim of rape or attempted rape. So you are correct. This is rampant. It's happening all over the place. We need to speak up about it. We need to empower victims to speak up and to feel safe, to feel heard, and to provide the resources so that they can get the support that they need.
And with these new movements, these sentencings, do you feel like it has kind of done that?
At least it's creating a forum for people to be able to express themselves. These women who are stepping up are extraordinarily courageous. I mean, from the list of things that they're saying, a lot of which that I can relate to, and I actually want to read this so that any of your viewers who are watching who have been a victim of sexual violence understand that these are regular symptoms, sadly, that come from being a victim. Here is loss of self-trust, feeling devalued, inability to form and maintain relationships, depression, attempted suicide, afraid to leave the house, loss of joy, stolen innocence, stolen dreams, a life sentence of guilt and shame, weight gain, fear of safety of their own children, leaving career paths so they can feel safe. I know for me, it absolutely destroyed my life. I myself became suicidal because I did not receive the care and the attention that I needed because I felt too much shame and I didn't have the forum to discuss it. I held it in and then I felt like exploding from within outside.
Well, it's really important to, recognize that in these cases, these aren't just names, it's not just numbers, because both those cases had multiple different victims, R. Kelly and then the Epstein case as well, which all came forward and created a much larger voice. But each one of those people are individuals and have their own stories here. Any last thoughts?
Yes, in Daytona, it's not these individuals, it's their relationships, it's their families, it's their friends. Countless individuals are affected by each victim of rape or sexual assault. My final thoughts are, if you're a victim, please give yourself permission to speak up and speak your truth. Get the help that you need. The shame is not yours. Give it back to the perpetrator. Refuse to internalize any shame. Become shame resilient if anybody has sexually exploited you in any way for any reason.
Great note and a message to everyone who is watching right now, whether they know someone or are themselves a victim. We appreciate you being here on the show. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.